address these kind of challenges. So it is no secret that the drones nowadays can be used for a limitless number of applications. One of the most recent and relevant applications is their use during the COVID pandemic. So during the COVID pandemic, many governments and countries used drones in order to distribute test kits to the isolated populations. The drones also were used in order to disinfect large public areas and also in order to encourage the population to respect social distancing and to enforce the quarantine measurements. So this is one useful case during the COVID pandemic. The drones are also used nowadays in smart agriculture. So basically, they can be deployed in order to spray fertilizers and pesticides over large agricultural areas. And they can take high-resolution pictures in order to help the farmer to detect diseases on the plants, for example. Another example is the use of drones for package delivery. So lately, Amazon tested the drones in order to deliver packages by the air. So basically, instead of using your Glovo application or Uber Eats application in order to order your pizza, you can use an application that involves drones, and then you can save time, and your Glovo wouldn't be stuck in the traffic jam during peak hours. One last important application of the drones is for rescue operations. So the drones can rapidly inspect large areas, forests for example, in order to detect if there is any lost person over there, and therefore relay the information about the location of that person to the search and rescue team. So these are some of the applications of the drones. So also this morning we had another application which is using drones for inspecting the bridges and detecting the cracks on the bridges. So these are some examples of the applications of drones, but also in the telecommunication industry, the drones have been considered for many applications, and here I will focus on 4 use cases. So the first use case is to use drones in order to enhance the coverage in crowded places. So basically, the network infrastructure is in general designed to support a limited capacity of the users. So when there is an event such as soccer games or Olympic games or also festivals, so there is a surge in the density of the population, and therefore we need to assist the ground infrastructure in order to enhance the coverage of the network. So this is one use case. The second one is to use drones in order to replace damaged base stations after a natural disaster. So for example, after a hurricane or a typhoon or an earthquake, some of the antennas or the ground infrastructure is destroyed, and the idea here is to use drones as flying base stations that can provide connectivity to the ground users. And here the deployment of the drones is important because in such situations the survivors will need to relay their location to their families or to the rescue team, so they need internet or communication service in order to connect with that team. And by the way, in 2018 in Puerto Rico, after the Hurricane Maria, more than 60% of the ground infrastructure was destroyed, and the population was isolated for 3 weeks. And then the government used drones in order to provide connectivity to the population from time to time. The third use case is when drones are deployed as data collectors or relays. So in this case, the drones will fly or hover over ground sensors or IoT devices and collect data from these connected devices and relay the information to a central server for data analysis or for making decision. And the importance of drones here is actually because the IoT devices in general have limited batteries and also sometimes limited the communication range. So we need to send the drones close to these sensors in order to pick the information and send it to a faraway base station or to a server. And the last use case is when drones, and here mainly we are talking about high aerial platforms and also medium aerial platforms. So drones are used in order to provide connectivity to remote areas or to out of reach areas where the infrastructure, the ground infrastructure is costly and cannot be deployed, especially in for example, an island with a hard landscape or mountains. So the deployment of the terrestrial infrastructure is costly, and then the drones and high aerial platforms are considered as an alternative to the ground-based station. So, okay, using drones to provide connectivity is actually very important and insightful, but then there are many questions that need to be answered and many challenges that need to be tackled regarding this topic. So the first question that we can ask is if we'd like to deploy drones in order to achieve a given mission, let's say to collect data from sensors, then how many drones can be used in order to reduce the cost and also to achieve the objective of the missions? Another challenge is how to distribute these drones in the 3D space in order to improve the performance. So let's say increase the data rate or reduce the delay. So how to position them in the 3D space and also how to optimize their trajectory in order to achieve a given performance. The third question, if we are deploying multiple drones, then these drones need to communicate in order to avoid collision between them and also in order to exchange information. So how to ensure a good communication between the drones. And finally, and most importantly, how to save the energy of the drones, because these aircrafts are equipped with tiny batteries, and then we need to optimize to the maximum their efficiency in order to achieve their objective.